The unique thing about investing in Cosmos and the AppChain thesis is that there's not one single coin that you can just invest in that would represent the entirety of the ecosystem. You really have to pick your top contenders in the verticals or narratives that you're mostly bullish on. For example, if you're bullish on AI, then you have to look into Fetch, into Akash Network, into EOS. If you're bullish on DeFi, you have to look into Thorchain, into Osmosis, of course, into Injective, Say Network, right? There's all these different verticals that have 3, 4, 5 contenders that are many times also not necessarily bragging about being Cosmos, like DYDX, for example, but that are actually part of the Interchain. And so is Saga, which is the top contender for the gaming vertical, for the gaming narrative. It's a brand new chain. I would say the latest generation of Cosmos chains that went live in 2024. They've already done 6 airdrops. The 7th airdrop snapshot was just taken, by the way. We're going to talk about this later as well. And the price is just absolutely amazing. It went below $1 in recent weeks when altcoins were really flushed down. But a few weeks ago, it went off the leashes and is now back above $3 with a staking APR of 8.37%. And that is also important in the context of the airdrop strategy, because Saga rewards loyal stakers and compounders, but we're going to get to that. But first I want to talk about new local highs that we haven't seen since early June. I think June 4 to be precise. We haven't seen net inflows on the Bitcoin spot ETF above $500 million until yesterday. So does that mean that October is finally here with a slight delay? Maybe we'll see, but so far so good. Ethereum also saw $17 million in inflows and $210 million in trade volume, which, by the way, yesterday for Bitcoin was $2.6 billion in trade volume on the Bitcoin spot ETF in the USA. You can see here on Ethereum, we've seen mostly outflows. Also, the net flows on Ethereum are still negative. The total flows, $500 million that went out of the ETF due to Grayscale's conversion from their trust into an ETF that unlocked here $3 billion that went out from this ETF alone. The calls for October are getting louder and louder, and to be honest, we truly deserve this. I would obviously love for a very, very green week this week and also next week, because also if you have a major pump during a conference, the vibes are just very, very different versus going down, crashing, bloodbaths, or just bad news. And the past 2 years, we had really bad news around these times. So I hope that now we actually have positive news, good vibes, prices up, and that it will obviously also boost the sentiment around the October month here in Dubai, which is in full swing. We already have the first conferences happening. We have Cosmoverse next week, then there's Binance Blockchain Week the week after, and tens of thousands of people that will be here in Dubai. Looking at the state of the election race, we see Trump is pretty much winning according to Polymarket, 56%, Harris 43.5%. But obviously the decision is going to be made on November 5, which is only 3 weeks away. So 3 weeks from today, we will know a lot more. But so far it looks like Trump is winning. And also don't forget, Trump is today going to release the pre-sale. He's doing an ICO today for his new crypto project, World Liberty Finance, which I have not whitelisted for. But just crazy to see and like even report on these news that a presidential candidate is doing an ICO 3 weeks before the election. Anyways, not only on the macro, but also within the Interchain, we see October calls left and right, and Omtober is also launch month for the Mantra mainnet, but it's also shipping month for the Cosmos Hub team at Informal. They're shipping Forge, which is the Interchain Security 2.0 front end, Hydro, which is liquidity as a service, basically Atom Wars. And then we also have the launch of a new consumer chain happening actually today by Crypto Dungeon, who I know has been working very, very hard, relentlessly, and is going to launch their first consumer chain today. There's some more details. You can also purchase their NFTs, Cosmic Quest NFTs. We talked about it a lot here on the channel in recent weeks, and show support for Crypto Dungeon, who is a real hustler and builder in the Cosmos ecosystem. Looking deeper into Hydro, there's now more clarity on how it will work, the first pilot rounds, what the tributes are, and also how this is all incentivized. There's a full walkthrough here made by Tyborg on the Cosmos Hub forum, Atom Wars, Hydro pilot rounds, and this is basically the first round of rerouted Atom liquidity that is basically clawed back, that was given out over the years from the community treasury directly into these DeFi applications and is now being clawed back or rerouted into Hydro. And that alone accounts to roughly 2.5 million atoms. So it's somewhere in this article. This is the clawback status, and you can see 600K from persistence, 900K from Osmosis, 450 from Stride, and then 200 from Mars, and the rest, roughly 200 from Agoric, which accounts to roughly 2.5 million atoms. That is now basically up for voting for the Atom community in a gamified way. And Hydro itself resides as a smart contract on top of Neutron, which is the permissionless smart contract chain that is secured by Atom. This is also addressed here in this article, why they decided to do it like that. One of the main reasons being that if they went ahead to directly deploy on the Cosmos Hub, which would have the technical requirements for it with CosmWasm, permission CosmWasm, but that would have delayed the launch by a month. And in that context, Hydro is fully Neutron aligned, fully Cosmos Hub aligned, and can ship faster, which is what some projects are impatiently waiting for. Also, remember that we now have Drop on Neutron, and Drop also has their farming campaign where you can earn droplet points. And if you liquid stake your atoms on Hydro with Drop, you're also earning droplet points. You can also choose Stride, of course, and some other providers. But with Drop, you're getting these extra droplets. You can also use code Dropcito if you haven't farmed your droplet points yet. But I also think it makes sense to diversify, right? Use Stride, use Drop, use other providers as well. That's one thing. Also, very interesting what's mentioned here in this article is that, one thing about the liquid staking module, also very important for you to understand how this works and how you liquefy your staked atoms and get LSM shares and all these kind of things. So read through that carefully before participating in Hydro, and understand also the whole workflow of what you're actually doing here. Also look into the future. But also there's a new protocol called Valence, which is built by the TimeWave team around Max Einhorn and also Sam Hart. And if you remember, we did content around this a few months ago in the context of liquidity as a service, how Atom can make money. And this is also now being deployed on top of Neutron. So you have Valence, Hydro, Drop, and all of that running on Neutron, which is secured by Atom, which is the step in the right direction, in my opinion, of where Atom is heading. Now we have to see actual demand, actual numbers, participation ratios, and all these kind of things. And the end game for Hydro is eventually to become the first community-governed, protocol-owned liquidity alligator, which is a fully permissionless, automated, risk-minimizing and profit-maximizing system for efficient treasury management on a public chain. And indeed, that would be really cool, but I think to get there is still a long way. Anyways, looking into Osmosis, still around 56 cents, very, very low levels in my opinion. Dirt cheap, I would say. Has staking rewards of around 10% still, 8.6% inflation. But if you have been away for the past year and a half, 2 years, and you're just now coming back, test out Osmosis, you'll see how much it's evolved. It's absolutely insane. The UX has improved 100 times. They have new revenue streams with ProtoRev, also on-chain revenue shares with Nomics and BTC, alloyed assets, limit orders as well, smart accounts, and a lot more. And with Polaris around the corner, I think that Osmosis is in a very, very good position to regain a lot of momentum and traction. Another chain or coin in the Cosmos ecosystem that is actually already on everyone's map, but I think has huge, huge upside. It's also Akash Network, AKT, which is actually my largest position in my liquid portfolio. AKT, $2.53, still not listed on Binance, which I think eventually it's inevitable that they will get listed there. Around 15% APR, 13% inflation, which is currently the roof, I believe. If you go on parameters here on Minscan, you can actually see the current inflation parameters. Yeah, 13%. So if we go above 2/3, 67%, then the inflation would gradually decrease to a floor of 7%. And the current bonus ratio is 52%, so we're going to stick around 13% inflation for a while, unless we are seeing on-chain proposals to revise tokenomics. You can obviously also delegate to Cryptocito here in Akash. We launched this node around 2 years ago. Much, much appreciated. But Akash, in terms of their product market fit, has made huge, huge steps to exponentially grow. Year over year, Q3 2024 compared to 23, saw an 18x growth with over 300,000 USD that was generated in fees in Q3 alone. Q3 also saw a growth of 72.5% compared to Q2. Very, very interesting, I think, to see that Akash is finally getting that much traction and mainstream visibility, at least within the crypto community, I would say, but then also outside more and more is very cool. And they will also be in Dubai, the whole team. They're also doing a side event on Monday. They are leading the AI track at Cosmoverse, and I'm very excited to see Greg, Zach, Amanda, and the whole team. Getting back to Drop, they not only are going to be essential, I guess, in Hydro, but also they announced the launch of dTIA. dTIA, liquid stake your TIA now on Drop. I think Celestia also now with their latest lemongrass upgrade implemented Interchain accounts, which makes it a lot easier for liquid staking providers to plug in their product. And Drop being the latest LS2 provider, which is backed by Lido, fully aligned with Neutron, had a head start, also incentivized their campaign, gamified their launch and rollout basically with droplet points. Yeah, it's in a very good position, I think. And yeah, now you can liquid stake your TIA with Drop, earn yield for staking, earn yield in DeFi, and also farm droplet points while you're at it. And I think TIA, obviously they have this huge unlock now in 2.5 weeks, but I think TIA is also going to play a huge role this bull run. And in my view, has potential to become a $100 billion protocol, which would put it at around $110 per TIA. Anyways, that's just on the side. Now, if you prefer reading or just browsing through information instead of listening to it, I strongly urge you to bookmark the C2_zone Twitter account and also the C2.zone website. But please be very careful, because I saw that there's an impersonator website that doesn't have the dot. It's just C2zone.com or something. Don't fall for impersonators. I don't have a paid course or a paid algorithm or investment strategies. A lot of these impersonators are using the C2 brand as a way to scam people into investment strategies or whatever. So be very careful with that. And here you can see updates in written form on Twitter, but also on our website on all things Cosmos. Now, we also have an update from Penumbra. We talked about it in last week as well. They're now listed on CoinGecko #1, have a $56 million FTV. And right now, show privacy is not really a hot topic, but I think privacy eventually will also have its season. Second, Zaki is also saying, making the case for Penumbra, asked about what's the big vision of Penumbra, and Zaki is saying, Penumbra's atom, but with the missing privacy pieces solved. And I think privacy will always have demand, will always have a market. And Penumbra, Namada, we also talk a lot about Aleph 0, we have Aleo coming up, and many, many more. I think privacy eventually is going to have its run, and OG coins like Monero obviously are also still there. Penumbra is also going to have their first community call on Thursday, October 17th. So if you are a holder or have questions or want to know anything about a product or a token. Getting back to Saga and the main topic for today, which is not only the price explosion that Saga saw over the recent days especially, but also Vault 6 snapshot has been taken, which is going to be the 7th airdrop. So there was one airdrop, and then they started with the vaults, which basically are almost happening in a kind of bi-weekly or every 3 weeks it feels. I think one of them was actually longer than a month, but the rest was within a month. So this has been very, very, very nice income for those that received the airdrop in the first place, then staked their entire airdrop and qualified for subsequent snapshots and airdrops thereafter. And Vault 6 snapshot has been taken yesterday. That's why I've been reminding you 2-3 times in the previous videos and said, yo, if you are a believer in Saga, obviously, if you don't believe in them, just sell your airdrop or whatever, but then you're out. But if you believe in them, then just stake your entire amount and you qualify for the next round. And I think this is so far has been paying off really, really nicely. So I'm not complaining. My public C2 portfolio that I'm still doing, I think I'm the only YouTuber who started a portfolio in 2021 in the bull run and is still providing updates there. But an update on that portfolio is due as well, probably after Cosmos, but early November, mid-November. But I can tell you that the Saga airdrop has played a huge role in that. And that's also the whole point why I'm doing that, right? It's sure, you can buy a coin, you can be wrong. Coins can go down 98%. Literally, it's in my tagline. Any cryptocurrency can go to zero, just like that, right? They don't deliver, no product market fit. The community has internal disputes, right? And crypto is a minefield, right? 99% of these coins are going to zero, which is why you have to be diversified and always at the pulse of what's the next narrative, the next thing, and those kind of things. But you can also play it smart with airdrops, and you can mitigate some of these downsides by, you know, just being alert. And like, that doesn't mean you should set up a farm and have 10 laptops and 20 phones and do everything to farm these airdrops. But I think just playing it smart, and that's what I've been doing on the Cito portfolio challenge. And you will see in, I guess 2-3 weeks, I'm going to do an update there, that the portfolio, especially with the Saga airdrop, is actually really, really nice. Anyways, finally, really glad to see that the first people are arriving in Dubai. Met Winnie last night, and Nemos, Ghazni, the Cito team. Also, Jonas, our CTO, is here now, which is really cool. And the whole crew will be here. Also, the Cryptocito team. So Li Tang, who is my researcher, and also Sepmos, who just moved here as well, by the way. They're also going to be here. So it's really cool to have the entire Cito group united. And if you're in Dubai, coming for customers, or you live here, then you have the chance now to meet the entire team. They're literally flying in. Winnie came from Canada. We have people from Germany. We also have people flying in from Vietnam, from Italy. So yeah, the team is very, very international, and I'm very glad that they're all here now. Anyways, that's all the updates for today. I hope the markets continue to pump and stay green, and I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, stay safe and be good.